What's going on, family? It's your girl, Garuji Chastity, and I'm back with another Connect the Dots interview. Today, I'm joined by my good sis, Sara del Castillo, and today we're talking about overcoming the illusion of being stuck. Check it out, family.
Discussion portion. I like to say these are just conversations that we happen to be recording, and as this flows very nice, it feels lovely, and so, man, I'm looking back over here on my notes and looking at even the title of what I chose for you today, and then how you chose your interview is like, Lord Jesus. So
All
today,
aligning.
all in alignment. Today's topic is, breaking the illusion of being stuck, and this speaks to me, so I know I'm about to get my life real quick, and so I know this is going to be a help to all people, that hear this. And so, before we get started, I definitely want to introduce you. And so, before I butcher your last name, tell me how to pronounce it.
Thank you for asking. It's Del Castillo.
Ooh, gotta put
Yeah,
an accent on it.
yeah, Del Castillo. I always think that whenever I tell people my name, Sara, especially my last name, people are always like, "Oh, you say it with an accent." I'm like, I don't expect people to be perfect, but it's beautiful when people try. When they like get to experience what it feels like for a foreign word to like be on their tongue, like so many people that we live with in the US who come here. It's like, it's cool to like put yourself in those shoes and be like, oh, I'm gonna try like a word that my tongue isn't used to. And so I try to do that with other people's names too. If there's like an accent or something, I was like, you're not gonna get perfect, and that's okay. But thank you. You said it beautifully.
Awesome. So we got Sara del Castello.
Yes,
Okay, we're gonna work on it. I want
that's it. You got it. What del Castillo,
to say it again.
del Castillo.
Del Castillo.
Yes, and Garushi Chastity, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, love it.
Right on. So tell me, who is Sara? Who?
Yeah. Oof. I'm just like thinking like what's coming through my mind right now. Honestly, right now, just like a creative, someone who loves connecting with people, and is just passionate about light work and making sure that I am cultivating a loving relationship with myself and with others, and creating space for us to really move past a world and a society that profits off of our anxiety, off of our feelings of unworthiness, off of us not knowing our truth. And so when I say like, who am I think years ago, I probably would have answered like, I'm a leader, activist, like nouns. And now I'm just kind of thinking through like what emotions, what like pieces of wisdom are like flowing through me right now in this moment in time. And I think a lot of it is like connectivity, love, peace, grounded, and also like rebellion against a lot of the things that I think um, caused a lot of harm, depression, confusion about who I am in my life. And so I guess who is Sara is somebody who's like constantly unlearning and learning, who is like, you know, revisiting all the different pieces and parts of who I am and who has created who I am, and taking what serves me and what is for me and what allows me to weave light into my life and into this world, and then also realizing like things that I think were meant to imprison me and keep me from really knowing my true self and my true purpose and recognizing it in others.
I like how you answer that so far. Out of the few interviews I've had the opportunity to do, I feel like you're the first person who's taken the approach to kind of express it in a way that we have those nouns and those different things that we can use to describe ourselves, but every day is different, and every day you might have to show up as something else, or you're going to be uncovering something else. So that's nice. I like that. What would you say was the catalyst that like sparked your healing journey?
Yeah. Oof. I love this question too. I'm like thinking about space and time. So a few years ago, I like was struggling to get out of bed. And just to give you context of like what I think a lot of like who I am is like people would describe me as energized, positive, just like a really loving person, passionate, like, and a few years ago, I would say around like 2015, 2016, I was living in my favorite city in the world. I was working with some of the greatest students ever in a critical community. But because of certain choices and fears that I had in my life, including my relationship, including my sexuality, and honestly, including my career, where people were pressuring me to go, what people were pressuring me to do as like who they thought I was supposed to be as a successful person. I like started having panic attacks, night terrors. I remember like one morning I like couldn't get out of bed to even like brush my teeth or take a shower or make my breakfast, and started having these alarms sounding off in my body. My body was rejecting the life that I was choosing. It was literally shutting down, and I started getting sick a lot. And so I'm so grateful for the awareness that I had space to cultivate during that time and say, girl, like, what is going on? Like, you are unhappy, you are unhealthy. Like, let's get back to ourselves. I was also about to marry someone. I was talking about marriage with someone who I knew I didn't need to be with. Not that he wasn't a good person, but I knew he wasn't my partner like for life, and also knew I didn't want partnership, right? It wasn't the season. And so as I was like recognizing that I was choosing all of these things that I knew in my soul I didn't want to choose, my body was rebelling. And I was like, okay, I need to respect this and honor this and dive into what's going on. So I ended up, one of my biggest dreams my whole life was to travel abroad, and I couldn't ever afford it. But I found a fellowship through a friend who was like, hey, I know you've always wanted to travel. I know you've always wanted to go to another country. Why don't you just apply and see what happens? And it was called the Fulbright program, and ended up applying. And I got it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe it was like fully paid for. It was going to give me a job in another country. So I remember before I left, my partner at the time, his mom like took me aside and was like, you know, if you do this, you're like, y'all are over, you're choosing like this opportunity over like a marriage and a life and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And so I left. I ended up coming out to my partner at the time as bisexual because I knew that I liked women, and that was just a really beautiful part of my identity that I didn't want to hide. And I was like, you know, I am a bisexual person, and I now like not even to put labels on it. Like I just was like, I just need you to know that like I am not a heterosexual person, and like I express myself differently and I have different needs. And so I just started like little by little recovering my voice and reminding myself of who I was, what I deserved, what my truths were. And I started not just knowing them for me, but I started telling the world. And I think through that process really started crafting the life that reflected my inside out, right? It reflected love for myself. It reflected trust for myself. It reflected courageous honesty, because these things are hard, right? I'm from the South. I'm from a really religious family. And I lost a relationship where I've been dating someone for 7 years. I lost my home, right? Like my family went and got my belongings while I was in another country. Lost my job. I lost a lot of things. But I found myself in the process, and it was just like the most, as much as I like was just stripped of everything I had been building, I was able to to unlearn, undo, and like start back from me as the foundation, and not other people's expectations as the foundation of the life I was building. And it changed my life. And here I am in a different city, living with amazing friends who I love immensely, doing work that I love, and trying to help others figure out how to do that too. I feel like I'm constantly going to be a learner, but I love learning with other people, especially other women, because I think we're pressured immensely to live lives that aren't ours and they're not for us.
How long ago was that?
2017 really is when 2016 is when I took the plunge to move to another country, and just started unraveling.
Man, your responses are so great. I literally don't have follow-up questions. It's like,
sorry, I'm like probably giving you like way too much.
Right, I love it. And so, when people watch this back, excuse me for just doing question after question, but you're really like